What does pansexual mean? Pansexual meaning or referring to someone who is attracted to people of this all genders and sexes. What does asexual mean? The meaning of asexual refers to someone who has little or no sexual attraction to others, someone who identifies themselves as not having a sexual orientation. What does transsexual mean? Transsexual is an outdated term that one shouldn't use. It was once used to describe someone whose gender was different from sex assigned at birth. It was used to describe someone who seeks medical surgery to change their sex body. What does being an LGBT ally mean? Being an ally of the LGBT communities, meaning that you can be of any gender identity and or sexual orientation and be a supportive, respectful, and inclusive of a wide spectrum of LGBTQ community. What is the difference between gay pride versus LGBTQ2+ pride? Gay pride can be viewed as exclusive, but LGBTQ2+ pride is a more inclusive term to use because it includes all sexual orientation, romantic orientations, as well as all genders. What does gender mean? Gender refers to the sex that is assigned at birth. It is a sense of self as a man, woman, non-binary, and gender-fluid person. Gender is influenced by biological characteristics of society norms. What does gender-fluid mean? Gender-fluid refers to a wide spectrum of gender identity or expression. What does gender identity mean? Gender identity refers to the gender to a person think or perceive to be. It may or may not correlate to their assigned sex at birth. Gender identity is a person's internal sense of self, a self-construct, not necessarily visible or obvious to others. What does gender expression mean? Gender expression refers to the way in which someone expresses their gender identity through their manners, interests, appearance, or the way they dress. What does romantic orientation mean? Romantic orientation meaning and referring to the sex or gender with which someone is most likely to have a romantic relationship or fall in love with. Romantic orientation is considered distinct from sexual orientation. What does heterosexual mean? Heterosexual refers to someone who is attracted to people of a different sex. Heterosexual meaning is also known as straight. Example, a woman liking a man or a man liking a woman. What does homosexual mean? Homosexual refers to someone who is attracted to people of the same sex. Homosexual can also be expressed as gay or lesbian. For example, a woman liking a woman or a man liking a man. What is a pronoun in gender? A pronoun refers to someone wishes to be addressed. Pronouns can be added to email signature or any signature. It is a way to express inclusiveness and being respectful for more inclusive environment. So here in the chart that you can see that there are different ways to address someone as needed. So it can be she, her, hers as the subject, object, and pronoun for people who identify as a woman, he, him, his for people who identify themselves as a male, and then others can use different subject, object, and different pronouns to be addressed. What are the benefits of LGBTQ inclusions? There are many benefits for LGBT inclusions, and here are 6 of them. First, being inclusive to LGBTQ community can help you to retain employer and different talents. You are not going to drive away talents because of their sexual orientation or their gender. And then you also get a wider spectrum or perception of skills experience. Someone who is identifying themselves as a different gender or sexual orientation will provide different experience, different perspective of the world and a worldview, which can help you improve your understanding of the world as a business. And it also helps engagement of the employees, so they feel loyal, they feel engaged to the company, and then they feel valued. Being inclusive with the LGBT communities can also encourage better teamwork and higher productivities. And of course, being inclusive, being a major and important corporate values or organizational value in today's world, it will help you to reduce risk of liability. How do you implement LGBTQ2+ inclusion in the workplace? There are many ways that you can implement inclusion for the LGBT communities. For example, in your hiring and retention policies and program, when you're designing your workplace culture and designing your employee support and engagement program, and doing onboarding or manager training, you can also incorporate LGBT training into those. And also in client management, supplier or supply chain management, you can also incorporate diversity and LGBT inclusion. And more important, in the mission and commitment statement of your company organizations, you can include LGBT or any diverse workplace languages. What are some LGBT inclusion quick wins? Here are some examples of LGBT quick wins. First, you can provide a safer space and environment. You can add pronouns to email signature, advising your employee how to address people who identify themselves other than female and male. You can use gender-neutral languages in your communication policy, procedure, workplace forms, or you can remove questions around gender or sex if not needed. Or on the other hand, you can provide a more comprehensive list of gender for employee to select from. The other quick wins could be communicating company's diversity and inclusion commitment to staff and the client and to your suppliers. You can create engagement resource group newsletters, and then you can also encourage your teams, your employees to join Pride celebrations. How can I tell if someone is gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender? The only way to tell is when someone tells you they are. Never assume, and you cannot assume. Be mindful and sensitive to how you address someone.